evening, everyone. My name is Jamie Thornberry from Central West Farming Systems, based out of Condobolin. And we've been doing the lime project for a few years now, and we have a few demonstration trials all around the area, and they are starting to demonstrate subsoil acidification. And that acidity actually moving down within the profile. So what kind of pHs are you seeing around this area? 5 and below? Yep. What kind of aluminium in those soils?
Oh, we've got some terrible aluminium on sand. We discovered the other day, like 10s to 20s, but that's only on the sand where the crop's dead.
Yep. Yep. So as you know, you can, in low pHs, you can start to run into heavy aluminium issues. So we actually ran a similar presentation to this one at the sister workshop we had in Parks. So that was basically the northern part of this, and a lot of the feedback that we got from that is they wanted to actually know the science behind lime and how it started to work. And it was good that I'm actually presenting after Jim Laycock, because he actually did cover a lot of the soil science in the presentation. So in order to achieve that, I'm going to be a bit more proactive, I suppose, and I'm going to use a few people as props, so we'll see how we go. We need some soil scientists here.
Who's these soil scientists?
1 and 2, right?
I'm not a soil scientist.
Neither's Chris.
I'll pretend.
See that bloke over there in the long hair? Come over here, Chris. Come on. Come on.
Soil science.
Looks like a pH. Fabio. Come on, Condo.
Alright, go on. Quick. Another one up. So he knows the charge on the surface of the clay particles.
You have to speak really loudly.
Yeah, that's alright. I'll try and project it a bit better. So the charge on the surface of clay particles is -2. So who here knows the 3 main things lime does for your soil? So come on, don't be shy.
Lowers pH. Raises pH.
Raises pH. It's also good for soil structure. It's also good for tying up aluminium. So we've got 1 clay particle here, and we've got another one with a charge of -2. We're going to need 4 hydrogens out of the crowd here somewhere to come and satisfy the charge on these clay particles. So I'm going to pick people that we've got. 1, 2, 3 and 4 up the front. Yep. So 2 go on link arms as that bloke there, and 2 there. So now you have your clay particles here, and they both have hydrogen stuck to them. So in order for flocculation to occur, you need these to be relatively close together. And there's weak attractive forces called dipole forces that allow clay particles to flocculate. Because as you know, if you get a magnet, you got a positive and you get a negative charge, and the positive is going to stick to the negative end. But in this situation, they're both neutrally charged, and without the hydrogens, they're both negatively charged. So we're going to need other forces, like the dipole forces, to stick them both together. So now you're thinking, okay, well, how is lime going to benefit that situation? So who here knows what kind of elements you find in lime? Anyone?
Yeah,
Yeah, calcium. Yep. And you also got a carbonate on the other end of that. So calcium carbonate. So we're going to need 2 calcium. So calcium is relatively small in biomass. Relatively small element.
When they start flocculating, they just run.
So calcium comes into the soil profile, and it can kick the hydrogens off these 2 clay particles. So all hydrogens come back forward. So now you've got your 2 clay particles, they've both got calcium stuck to them, and the distance between these 2 clay particles has now been reduced, so now they can flocculate.
They move close together.
Hello, Chris.
So I just mentioned some weak forces that allow them to flocculate. Can anyone say what they were? Guy just mentioned it before. Dipole forces? Yep, so it allows them to stick together. Okay, so thanks to that, you can all go back now. Yep, so you've got the carbonate now that's in your profile, and as you know, we've just displaced all those hydrogens, they're back in the profile. So how is lime going to alleviate your pH issue?
So you reckon
So basically you have your carbonate and you have your hydrogen ions within the soil profile. So with carbonate and hydrogen, can anyone take a guess at what kind of elements we can form out of that? I'll give you a bit of a hint. It falls from the sky.
H2O.
Yep, so we got H2O first up. And the next one,
CO2.
yep, CO2 is the other one you're looking for. So you get, you go from your carbonate and your hydrogens to H2O and CO2 within the soil profile. So now there's one other benefit left for lime in your soil profile. Anyone remember what that was? So we've just gone through structure. We've just gone through alleviating your pH issue.
Aluminium.
Yep, so aluminium. It's tying up aluminium as it comes into the soil. So carbonate, when it enters your soils, you think of it like a bouncer in a nightclub. So carbonate comes into the soil and it sees 4 hydrogens over there, they're causing trouble. You can grab all of those 4 hydrogens, and on the way out, aluminium's over there on the dance floor, he's been a menace, grabs onto aluminium as well. So your plants in the soil, they love to be able to suck things up like a straw. So when things become insoluble, they're not available to plants. And that's exactly what your carbonate is doing to your hydrogens and your aluminiums within your soil profile. So hopefully that hasn't been too complex. And yeah, if you've got any questions about that.